Investigation into price labels suggests some shoppers have been paying more than they thought they should be paying at Kroger stores.
A shopper bought an 8-ounce jar of minced garlic listed on the shelf at $2.49. At the register, it rang up at $3.99, a $1.50 overcharge on a single small jar. When she asked a Kroger employee about it, the answer wasn't reassuring. The employee said the store simply didn't have enough staff to keep the shelf tags updated. That's not one isolated mistake. According to a major consumer investigation, it's a pattern, and employees themselves have been the ones quietly telling customers and reporters exactly why it keeps happening. Quick ask before we get into it. Subscribe so you catch the next investigation like this one, because pricing issues like this are showing up across more chains than people realize. Let's get into it. In May 2025, Consumer Reports published an investigation into a years-long pattern of price tag errors on sale and discounted products across Kroger-owned grocery stores nationwide. It wasn't a one-store problem. Shoppers in multiple states had already been filing complaints for months, and once the investigation went public, Kroger's own employees started speaking up too, confirming details the company itself hadn't been eager to explain. 1. The overcharge pattern was consistent, not random. The Consumer Reports investigation found that Kroger stores frequently rang up higher prices at the register than what was listed on the shelf, specifically on sale and discounted items. Exactly the products shoppers are most likely to be paying close attention to. One shopper described the pattern bluntly in a complaint filed with the Ohio Attorney General's office. Almost every single time she went into the store, the listed price on the shelf didn't match what actually rang up at checkout. She wasn't alone. Multiple shoppers at the same Ohio location filed nearly identical complaints independently of each other over more than a year. That's one location's pattern. What employees actually said when customers asked directly is where this gets more specific. 2. An employee admitted the store couldn't keep up with its own tags when one shopper and her partner asked directly why the pricing kept being wrong. Kroger employees reportedly told them the store simply didn't have enough staff to keep shelf tags updated in line with actual register prices. That's a genuinely candid admission from the people working the floor. Not corporate spin, but a frontline explanation that lines up exactly with what the broader investigation found happening across multiple locations. It also means the errors weren't random glitches. They were a structural gap between what the shelf said and what the system charged. One that depended entirely on someone having the time to walk the aisles and fix it. Staffing gaps are one explanation. The specific dollar amounts customers were actually losing show how much this added up. 3. The errors weren't just occasional. They were frequent enough to draw regulatory attention beyond the individual complaints. A national consumer advocacy group compiled close to 1,700 separate customer complaints about Kroger overcharging, many describing confusion over digital coupons or being charged more at checkout than what was advertised on the shelf. Class action lawsuits over incorrect pricing were subsequently filed by customers in Ohio, Utah, California, and Illinois. 4 different states, each independently alleging the same basic pattern of shelf prices not matching register prices. Volume of complaints is one signal. What's actually driving the pricing system underneath all of it is a much bigger, more deliberate story. 4. Digital price tags open the door to something bigger than simple errors. Kroger has been rolling out digital shelf tags, officially called electronic shelf labels, across an expanding number of stores nationwide. These tags allow prices to update automatically and instantly across an entire store, rather than requiring an employee to physically walk the aisles swapping paper tags by hand. On paper, that should reduce the exact staffing-related errors described above. But U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey have raised direct concerns that the same technology enables what they've called surge pricing, dynamic pricing that can shift based on factors like the time of day, weather conditions, or even how many other shoppers are currently in the store. According to the senators, that means a price could technically rise at the exact moment a shopper wants a product most, with no advance warning and no simple paper trail showing what the price was an hour earlier. Digital pricing technology is one layer of concern. Kroger's own public response to all of this is worth examining directly. 5. Kroger's response has been to add staff while denying the scale of the problem. In response to the Consumer Reports investigation, a Kroger representative stated the company reviews millions of items weekly to ensure shelf prices are accurate, and specifically called the characterization of widespread pricing concerns patently false. At the same time, and just one day after that investigation was published, Kroger announced it would be hiring an additional 15,000 employees nationwide, framed publicly as an effort to enhance the customer experience. Multiple Kroger employees separately confirmed to Consumer Reports that managers had directed them to correct all erroneous price tags in stores within a matter of days of the story breaking. A company denying the scale of the problem publicly, while quietly instructing staff internally to fix it fast. Public denial paired with an internal fix is one pattern. A newer legal case, still working through the courts in 2026, adds a completely different dimension to the pricing story. 6. A separate 2026 lawsuit alleges Kroger shrank its own private label products without clearly saying so. Beyond the shelf tag pricing issue, a newer lawsuit filed in 2026 specifically targets Kroger's private label products, alleging the company reduced the net weight or volume of certain store brand items while keeping the packaging looking essentially identical and the price the same or higher, the pattern commonly known as shrinkflation. The legal theory centers on deception by omission. Shoppers reasonably assume a familiar-looking package contains the same amount of product it always has, and the lawsuit alleges Kroger didn't clearly disclose when that stopped being true. Courts have historically been skeptical of shrinkflation claims specifically, since companies are technically permitted to change package sizes. The real legal question is whether the change was adequately disclosed to shoppers, which is exactly what this case is still working through, with a settlement considered unlikely before 2027. Package size allegations are one thread. A separate related lawsuit challenges the actual labeling claims printed on those same private label products. 7. Another lawsuit challenges all natural and no artificial labeling on Kroger's own brands. A separate active case targets specific marketing claims printed directly on Kroger's private label food products. Language like all natural and no artificial preservatives, phrases shoppers commonly rely on when deciding what to put in their cart. The lawsuit alleges certain Kroger store brand products use the term natural despite containing synthetic additives and claimed no artificial colors, while actually including dyes that are regulated under FDA rules. If those allegations hold up, it would mean shoppers reaching specifically for Kroger's cleaner label options may not have been getting exactly what the packaging promised. Labeling disputes are one layer. What Kroger's own recent earnings calls reveal about how shoppers are actually reacting to all of this ties the whole pattern together. 8. Kroger's own leadership has acknowledged shoppers are pulling back. During a recent earnings call, Kroger's interim CEO at the time directly acknowledged that customers remained sharply focused on value, describing a consistent trend of more cautious spending throughout the year. Broader industry data shows shoppers increasingly splitting their grocery lists across multiple retailers and making more targeted, shorter trips based specifically on price and promotions, rather than doing one large loyal trip at a single store the way shopping habits used to work. Whether or not shoppers are consciously connecting that caution to the pricing investigation and lawsuits directly, the timing lines up. Trust in the sticker price is exactly the kind of thing that erodes shopping behavior quietly, trip by trip, long before anyone files a complaint. None of this means every Kroger receipt is wrong, or that every private label product on the shelf is mislabeled. It means the specific pattern worth watching for is simple. Check your receipt against the shelf tag before you leave the register, especially on sale items, since that's exactly where the documented errors clustered. If something looks off, say something. Kroger's own statement confirms staff are empowered to immediately make it right when a concern is raised directly, which at minimum means the fix is available if you catch it yourself. 8 things pulled directly from an active investigation, employee statements, and lawsuits still working through the courts right now. If you've ever caught a mismatched price at the register yourself, drop it in the comments. I'd like to know how common this actually is out there. Like this video, subscribe for more breakdowns like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.